$30,000 wasted. 18 months of regret. A van that never left your driveway. That's not a hypothetical. That's 2026 reality for buyers who followed aesthetics instead of doing the research. This video exists so you don't become that story. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which vans are worth your money if you travel frequently. Retirees crossing state lines every week. Families treating the van as a real home. Full-timers who cannot afford a breakdown 600 miles from nowhere. You'll know which platforms hold value, which ones will drain your savings, and most importantly, which one matches your geography, your budget, and how you actually live. Not how a thumbnail suggests you should live, how you actually live. Let's go. Section 1. Why most people buy the wrong van. Here's the pattern. Someone watches 40 van tours, falls in love with exposed wood and a rooftop tent, buys on aesthetics. 6 months later, $400 a month in repairs, no dealer within 300 miles, sleeping in a van that was photographed beautifully but never engineered to actually be a home. The number one mistake is simple, confusing a beautiful conversion with a strong platform. The conversion is furniture. The platform is everything. 3 things actually determine whether a van survives frequent travel. First, dealer network density. Ford Transit, over 3,000 authorized service locations across the United States. Mercedes Sprinter, around 300. That is not a minor gap. That is the difference between a 2-day repair and a 2-week nightmare waiting for a specialist who can legally touch your van. Second, parts availability and real-world repair cost. High-mileage travel destroys things on schedule. Brakes, belts, alternators, DEF systems. Some vans cost $40 to fix at any shop in any town. Others need proprietary parts on a 2-week international shipment. We call this the stuck in Tulsa factor. It matters more than your floor plan, every single time. Third, resale value trajectory. The market corrected hard in 2023 and 2024. Overpriced pandemic conversions lost 30 to 40% of their value fast, but specific platforms held. Buy the right one, and you're not just buying transportation, you're managing a depreciating asset intelligently. There's a real difference between those two things. Framework locked? Let's get into the vans. Starting with the one that wins on pure logic and a single number that makes the case better than any spec sheet ever could. Section 2. Ford Transit, the most rational buy in the USA. The Ford Transit is not the most glamorous van on this list. It never will be, but for frequent travelers in the United States, it is almost certainly the most intelligent purchase in 2026, and one number makes that case better than anything else I could tell you. 3,000 service locations versus 300. 3 roof heights, 3 lengths, 2 wheelbases. Ford's 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 now gives you real towing capacity alongside your living setup. For families hauling bikes, a trailer, or a second vehicle, that combination is nearly impossible to match at this price point. But the real advantage isn't on the spec sheet, it's the network. I know a retired couple, full-timers, 12,000 miles a year. Alternator failed outside Flagstaff, Arizona. Back on the road in 6 hours. Same failure, same location. In a Sprinter, that story ends very differently. The honest downside? Fuel economy. The EcoBoost in a loaded build runs 18 to 20 mpg on the highway. At 15,000 miles a year, that gap between 18 and 22 mpg compounds into thousands of dollars over 5 years. Run the actual math before you commit. Buy it if you're US-based, traveling frequently, and want the best combination of serviceability, conversion ecosystem, and long-term cost control. Avoid it if you're doing significant European travel, or you want a factory-finished camper with warranty coverage on the living space. Think the Sprinter is the ultimate van for US full-timers? You might be about to overpay in ways nobody warned you about. Section 3. Mercedes Sprinter. Prestige with a price you need to understand. The Sprinter built the modern van life movement. Some of that reputation is earned. The diesel engine is excellent for long-haul efficiency. The high roof gives you real standing room. The highway experience is noticeably smoother than most competitors. But here is the uncomfortable truth about the Sprinter for US buyers in 2026. it is an overrated choice when you factor in total cost of ownership, and the market is slowly, finally figuring that out. Here's the number you need to know before you sign anything. DEF system failure, diesel exhaust fluid, has a documented repeating failure pattern on these vans. Repair cost? $3,000 to $8,000, depending on severity, depending on where you are when it happens. I know a retiree in Texas who bought a beautifully converted 2019 Sprinter, drove it 7 months, spent 3 days stranded outside El Paso, waiting for a certified Mercedes technician. The bill? $4,400. That is not a horror story. That is a Tuesday for Sprinter owners who skipped the research. Now flip to Europe. Everything changes. Mercedes dealer density across Germany, France, Spain, and the Netherlands is strong. Diesel infrastructure is comprehensive. Parts costs are more competitive. If you're a European buyer or a US buyer genuinely splitting time between continents, the Sprinter earns serious consideration. Pure US use outside a major metro? Go in with a repair fund or don't go in at all. Buy it if you're European-based, with a premium budget and proximity to a Mercedes commercial dealer. Avoid it if you're rural, budget-conscious, or traveling through regions where specialist service is sparse. Next, the van almost nobody covers seriously, and one specific feature that makes it smarter than the entire van life community gives it credit for. Section 4. Ram ProMaster, the underdog that keeps getting ignored. Almost nobody covers the ProMaster with any depth. That is a consistent, expensive mistake, and I think 2026 is the year buyers finally correct it. The ProMaster runs on the Fiat Ducato platform. One fact, enormous implication. It has real service infrastructure on both sides of the Atlantic. For buyers splitting time between the US and Europe, or European buyers considering US market options, that bilateral coverage is a structural advantage almost nothing else can offer at this price point. Now, the front-wheel drive criticism. Some of it is fair. You're not going deep off-road in a ProMaster. But here's what the critics miss every single time. Front-wheel drive means a completely flat floor. No tunnel, no intrusion. Full usable width from wall to wall. For families building crosswise beds, for couples who need every inch, that floor changes the livability equation more than most people expect until they're actually mid-build. And then there's the cost. ProMaster alternator, $15 to $25. Any auto parts store, any town, tonight. Mercedes equivalent, $220 to $380, often dealer only, often a wait. Over 5 years of serious travel, that gap is not theoretical, it's a real number, on your real budget, with real consequences. Weak points are real. Ergonomics divide people. Fuel economy is middling. Conversion community is smaller, but as a platform for frequent travel at a realistic budget, consistently undervalued, consistently overlooked. That changes in 2026. Buy it if you want the best value platform for frequent travel, especially with any US-Europe split in your travel plans. Avoid it if off-road capability is a genuine requirement, or you need a large, active conversion community behind your build. Next, 35 years of engineering, widely considered the best factory camper in the world, and for some of you watching this right now, it might still be the worst decision on this list. Section 5. Volkswagen California. Best in the world, read the fine print. The Volkswagen California is the best factory-built camper van available in 2026. That is not hype, that is 35 years of iterative engineering applied to one specific purpose. The pop-top mechanism is near perfect. The kitchen in the California Ocean trim outperforms most custom builds at twice the price. Every detail reflects decades of refinement for exactly this use case. And yet, for US full-timers, it might be the worst decision on this entire list. The California is not officially sold new in the United States. Imports exist, but the moment you need warranty service or a specific repair, you're navigating gray market parts, limited specialists, and a resale pool too small to exit cleanly when your life changes. In Europe, complete reversal. VW dealer network across the continent is comprehensive. Resale is strong. The used market is liquid enough to treat ownership like a managed trade-in cycle if you're disciplined about it. This is the clearest example on this list of why best van without context is a useless phrase. Best van for a European retiree doing 6 weeks through France and Spain? Possibly the California. Best van for a US full-timer doing 12,000 miles a year? Probably an expensive problem waiting to happen. Buy it if you're in Europe, have the budget, and want a factory-refined camper with full manufacturer support. Avoid it if you're US-based, full-timing, or need a clean exit option if your situation changes. And now, the one that didn't make anyone's list 2 years ago, but if you're buying in late 2026 or early 2027, this might be the smartest move nobody is talking about yet.
Section 6. The 2026 Wild Card. Toyota-based platforms. Toyota's commercial van presence in Western markets has been expanding quietly. The Proace Verso, their Stellantis platform collaboration, is now appearing in European markets with factory camper configurations more serious than anything they've previously offered. And the underlying reliability data is not a marketing claim. It's documented, longitudinal performance. Long-term studies consistently show Toyota drivetrains outlasting comparable European and American competitors at high mileage, not marginally, meaningfully. For a full-timer planning 200,000 miles over a decade, that reliability curve is the actual investment thesis, not the floor plan, not the kitchen, not the aesthetic. Current weakness: conversion ecosystem. Fewer aftermarket vendors, smaller builder network, less community knowledge compared to Transit or Sprinter. But that gap is actively closing heading into late 2026. If you're not purchasing until Q3 or Q4 of this year or early 2027, the Toyota-based options deserve a serious second look before you finalize anything. Watch this space. Section 7. Exactly who should buy what. No hedging. Here it is straight. US-based full-timers and frequent travelers, Ford Transit. High roof, extended length if you need it. New or certified pre-owned. The serviceability advantage justifies the choice for the majority of US use cases. Full stop. European full-timers with budget, Volkswagen California Ocean. Factory engineering, full dealer network, strong resale. The premium earns its place when the infrastructure supports it. European frequent travelers wanting a custom build, Mercedes Sprinter. Dealer density works in your favor. Diesel infrastructure is solid. The platform rewards a quality conversion. Best value platform in either market, ProMaster in the US, Ducato in Europe. Flat floor, affordable service, underrated reliability. Bilateral coverage nothing else matches at this price. Gray market imports? Walk away. Unless you have a specialist mechanic on retainer and a very specific reason to absorb the complexity, it's not worth the headache. Not even close. Conclusion. The opinion you came for. The van life content industry has a financial incentive to make every van look perfect, every build look flawless, every lifestyle look achievable with the right purchase. That is not honest, and it is not useful to you. The best camper van for frequent travel in 2026 is the one with the deepest service network in the geography where you actually drive it, the most honest total cost of ownership you can genuinely afford, and the layout that matches how you live, not how a thumbnail suggests you should. Stop buying aesthetics. Buy infrastructure. Buy reality. The people still happy in their vans 3-5 years in are not the ones with the most beautiful builds. They're the ones who matched the right platform to the right reality and spent their money on miles instead of repairs. That is the only decision worth making. Everything else is furniture. Now I want to know exactly where you are in this decision. Are you locked on a platform and just need confirmation? Is budget the real blocker? Is there one specific question, geography, conversion complexity, serviceability in your region that nobody has actually answered for you yet? Drop it below. I read every single comment, and if enough of you are wrestling with the same thing, that becomes the next deep dive, because your research process is exactly what this channel was built around. Your question might be sitting in the comments right now, and it might become the video that helps thousands of other buyers make the right call.